Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday Morning Motivation once again. Hello to you all. If you are brand new here, my name is Chris, better known as Chris Cooking Nashville here on YouTube. I am a recipe creator and YouTuber and all of these various things for the proper human diet and low carb community. I've lost about 130 pounds on a proper human diet, and my wife, Ash Taylor, who is not joining me today, but she has lost about 110 pounds, I guess. I'm mostly carnivore. She's mostly keto, like a meat-heavy keto, and we kind of just promote everybody using the proper human diet spectrum, whatever that looks like, whatever it is you feel most comfortable and feel most successful on the proper human diet spectrum, using that as a way to be able to change your life. And here we are, and we love to do these Monday morning motivations just for a great way to start out the week and to try to inspire ourselves to be healthy and happy and working towards our goals, and just want to try to be here to support you guys in that any way we can. So if you are new here especially, but if you're watching at all, please drop a comment in the chat. Let me know you can see me and hear me, because I never trust technology that much. So let me know that you are watching and that you can hear me. Maybe tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing where everybody is at. So excuse me, I got junk in my throat today. Ash is, I saw somebody ask where Ash is. Ash is trying to catch up on some other work that needs to be done, because we have the end of this week, Low Carb for Better Health, and we are going to be there both days. Our schedules have changed a little bit, and there's some other stuff going on, so we are going to actually be at Low Carb for Better Health both days. I will be working with Route 22 Meats, which is the meat sponsor, and cooking some meat there, some samples for everybody, and hanging out. Ash is going to be on volunteer duty, and I know Alyssa, Coach Alyssa from Dr. Barry's private group, the PhD Tribe, she is going to be there doing a bunch of work with Dr. Barry and Nisha and the other PhD coaches that are going to be there. She has a baby that is going to be coming along and might need a little bit of assistance helping take care of that baby, and Ash is preparing for ant life, so she's probably going to be helping Alyssa, hopefully, if that works out well. And she will be very, very busy for several days there as we get ready to prepare and then be at Low Carb for Better Health a couple of days. So she's catching up on the other things that she needs to do ahead of time for Ash Taylor stuff, for some things for Chris Cooking Nashville, all this stuff, because if you guys don't realize, we are entrepreneurs several times over. We run several businesses that it's just Ash and I that do it. and the workload is never ending, and so she is trying to get ahead on some things that will make it easier for her to not end up so far behind. So she is unfortunately not joining us today. But if you would like a little dose of Ash, go to ashtaylor.com. And I'm going to pop this up for you guys too. I don't know if you know, but Ash released a new single not too long ago here called This Town Built Me. You can hear me playing some lead guitar on there as well. She has more releases coming related to this, so just keep an eye out. But go to ashtaylor.com and please go stream her single, This Town Built Me, wherever you like to listen to music. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on everywhere. So anywhere you like to listen to your music, all the digital places, it is there. So please go check that out. Show some support for her, because Chris Cooking Nashville would not happen without her, and we need to make sure to support her and let her know that we're there for her. So, excuse me. Allergies are really bad this morning in Nashville. How are you guys doing wherever you are? Are you getting the allergy thing going on, or what's going on? Let me know. Before we dive in today to this subject of fasting and feasting, and I have some science for you that I think might be really helpful for you to maybe consider applying in your own life. But before we dive into that, I just want to say hey to a few people and see who's here real quickly. So make sure you drop it in the chat if you're here. Let's see, Carrie is here. Good morning, Carrie. Hope you're doing well. Jeff Cox is here. Good morning, beautiful people. Super Slam today. We'll catch the replay while I'm painting my diseased models this evening. Hope you have an amazing, meat-fueled day. Well, Jeff, I'm very appreciative of you being here. Jeff is a very, very active member of our private community called The Band, and you can go to the description box down below. You can find that link. We would love for you to come join us in The Band. It is a very supportive community. I do extra content in there. We do some private live streams. I put some extra recipes in there. We do behind the scenes stuff. We support each other. The Band knows about everything before anybody else. And I actually have a post I'm going to put up in The Band today that's really, really exciting. I think you guys are going to be really excited about this one. So if you're not a member of The Band, go down to the description box. It's a Mighty Networks group. You can join The Band. We would love to have you in there, because that is an amazing community. Jeff is a very active member in there, one of many people that are here in the chat. So we love you guys. Also, make sure you hit the thumbs up button while you're here, and subscribe and share if you haven't yet. I see 40 people watching, and I see 1 thumbs up. So come on, guys, let's get those thumbs up on there. Appreciate that. That just tells YouTube that this is really cool if you like this, and especially if you share it with someone who can use this kind of stuff. There is Mom in Nashville. Mom here from ISS. Wave if you can. Hello, Mom. Hope you're doing well today. Ann D is here. Woo, made it. Well, really glad you are here, Ann. Very glad you made it. Another beautiful member of our band. There's our brother Dennis, another member of the band. Hi, everyone, from Warrenton. He is actually traveling. We got to have lunch with Dennis the other day, and that was such a blast to sit there and catch up with him. What a sweet human being. We had so much fun. Janelle, our rock star moderator, is here. Good morning, all. So glad to be here with all you lovely people. So glad you're here, Janelle. We appreciate you so much. Let's see. She says, I was almost late again. I was busy straining some fresh yogurt made from pastured raw dairy. I love that. That's fantastic. There's our brother Lewis Stone. Do it wrong, Lewis Stone. Howdy, y'all. Can't stay long. See you on the repeat. Well, Lewis, hello on the repeat. Hope you are having an amazing day and everything is going well. And there's Janelle saying, like and subscribe, please. Yep, it's free. It does so much to help us out, guys. If you want to help spread this message, liking, subscribing, and sharing are free ways that you can help us help as many people as possible. We're trying to change the world one plate at a time, and I can't do that without your help. So anything you can do to help is appreciated, and those are free ways to do it. Auntie is here. Good morning, everyone. Minimal chat for me for a bit. Icing my broken shoulder. Happy Monday. Well, Auntie, I hope that you are healing well. Very, very glad you are here, and I'm so sorry about your shoulder, but praying that heals quickly. And Janelle says, please go to the CCN Studios channel and like and subscribe there too. Yes, I have a second channel called CCN Studios, which is also linked in the description box if you did not know. Trying to grow that channel because eventually I would like to keep all of the food on Chris Cooking Nashville, all the recipes and the food talk and the kitchen stuff on the Chris Cooking Nashville channel, and then on the CCN Studios channel be able to do the health stuff and the interviews and like the Monday morning motivations and all that. But it's not grown enough that most people are seeing this there yet, so I still do this on both channels because I don't want people to miss out that we're doing this. But if you wouldn't mind, go over and subscribe to the CCN Studios channel, and you can watch this over there if you are okay with that. And that just helps us grow that channel to where we can get the word out. So, hey, there's Carnivore Jerry in the middle of a forest. Hi, Jerry. It's been a little while since I've seen you. How are you? Says, good morning, Ash, Chris, and Mel, and the rest of you lovely people. Just finishing up my Kelly Hogan class. Will catch up with you all at super speed after I'm done. Well, I appreciate that, Jerry. Thank you so much. We love you, Jerry. You're just amazing. Blue Diamond Bill is here. Hey, Bill. Good morning from Arlington, Texas this morning. Good to see you, my friend. Brian is here. Good morning, you wonderful people. Hello, Brian. So good to see you, brother. Auntie says, the healing ache, though. Really looking forward to a full night's sleep again one day. Yeah, I know. When things heal and you get that achiness or itching or any of those other things, that can be so just, yeah. But I'm so sorry, Carrie, or Auntie, sorry. So sorry, Auntie. Hope that that will heal for you quicker than anything. So let us know how we can support you. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that, though. Janetta is here. Good morning, Janetta. And Peggy is here. Good morning, Peggy. Paula is here. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Paula. Glad you're here. And there's another rock star moderator, Maritza. Good morning, Maritza. How are you? She and Auntie and Janelle are all three moderators, and the three of them, they just keep things going. We have a few other moderators, but those three are here this morning, and just a huge thank you to the moderators just helping us out here and dropping links and all of that. Let's see. Just double checking, making sure I'm not missing anybody here in the chat before we dive in. There is Richard Williams. Williams, good morning, neighbor. How are you in Copper Hill? And Pamela is here from Oklahoma. Hello, Pamela. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Paula is watching from up north Michigan in the woods. I love that. And Carrie is down on the Gulf Coast. Says you can see and hear me all the way from there. That's awesome. There's Papa Nashville in the house as well. Good morning. Brian says, Chris, I love your shirt. Well, thank you very much. This is a brand new Hawaiian shirt. This is only the second time I've worn it. This is from a company called Hard Daddy, and I'm actually going to see if maybe they'll sponsor me and send me some shirts because I love these shirts. They're fantastic, and the brighter the better. So, let's see. We have Steak Mom. Good morning, peeps. Hello, Steak Mom. Thank you for watching. I think we're just about caught up here, and then we can dive into this interesting subject. I think you guys will find this very interesting because I have a personal story about this one. Sandy Albert. Hello, Sandy, watching over on Facebook. Appreciate you being here so much. There's Sherry. Good morning, Sherry. And Patty is here with a question. What is the difference between egg white protein and whey protein powder? Well, egg white powder is made from egg whites, and whey protein is made from whey. I know I probably didn't have to tell you that, but the thing with proteins, you guys need to understand, proteins are very different from each other. Whey protein has completely different properties than egg white protein. You know how an egg is a liquid when you have it raw, and then when you cook it, it turns solid? That is a unique thing in egg proteins. Other proteins do not do that, including whey. So they are completely different things, totally different types of protein, and they are not interchangeable, at least in most cases. There are a few things where you might be able to use both. Generally speaking, they are two completely different protein structures, and they react to heat in a completely different way. So I can take egg white protein, and I can mix water into it, make a paste, cook it, and turn it into a piece of styrofoam. I can take whey protein, mix it into water, and cook it, and the only thing it's going to do is dry it back up into something that becomes a powder, because those proteins do not bond the same way. So they're completely different things. Good question. Dennis says, visiting my brother, found out that a friend of his is carnivore and he's looking into it and interested in starting. Dennis, that's awesome. Rock on, brother. Fantastic. We are spreading the word, folks. That is why sharing and talking about this and being involved in all of this is just so great. And Marie commented train because she is on the fasting train with us. That's what we're going to talk about today. Brian Fly Fisherman Dish is here. Good afternoon, he says. Hello, Brian. I'm not sure where you are, Brian. It's morning here, but it might be afternoon where you are. So, let's see. Anybody else that I missed before we dive in? Chili Harder is here. Hi to all. Hello, Chili. So glad to see you. Sandra Harden is here. Hello from Panama City Beach. I bet it's really nice down in Panama City right now. Let's see. Cool. So I think we're caught up on saying hello to everybody. So let's talk about what we're talking about today. I'm just going to pull up a little bit of some notes here so that I don't miss anything. So guys, I'm talking with you about fasting and feasting, and I'm going to tell you sort of why this is so important. So, for those of you that don't know, Ash and I, this would have been Thursday of this past week, we went and we filmed her next music video. And when we film music videos, so she is, of course, the star in the music video. So she's having hair and makeup and all of that stuff done. She's dealing with wardrobe. She's playing guitar. She's acting out the video. Like she is the star. She's doing all that stuff. While she is doing that, I'm the camera crew. So I am filming and I'm carrying gear and I'm setting up and kind of directing things. I do lighting. I do all of that. So it was just the two of us. We had our friend Scotty, who is usually the one that watches Mel when we're out of town. If she's not allowed to go with us, she goes to Uncle Scotty's house and she gets to live on the couch with her own blanket, so don't feel bad for her. It's like a vacation for her. So Scotty came along just as kind of a personal assistant to help us, grab some stuff, carry some stuff, whatever. But for the most part, it's Ash and I. That's how we do these music videos, and we get a little bit of help from some other people where we can, but we do all of this ourselves on a very shoestring budget, and like independent artists do. So we filmed a music video on Thursday. It was a very, very long, sweaty day. And we were outside a lot. I carried a lot of gear, all this kind of stuff. I worked my butt off, which is good because I have extra butt that I need to lose. So I ate one meal the day before, which that whole day before was setting up gear, getting everything into the living room so that we could pack the car the next day. And I mean, we're talking lighting and camera gear and tripods and lighting stands and guitars and backpacks and wardrobe. And I mean, you should have seen our Kia Soul. It was stacked to the ceiling. So all of that gear, it all had to be gotten ready. I had to have cables and cords and everything. And I mean, like studio lights and colored lights and all of this. And I filmed for the first time with my brand new camera. So this one is not done with an iPhone like her previous ones have been done. And I think watching her previous music videos, you would never know that was done with an iPhone, I think, because we work really, really hard on those. But it was. This is done with an actual camera because we have been able to upgrade as I'm working on the cookbook. I was able to get an actual camera because I have to have one to take the pictures for the cookbook because I'm doing all that too. So we have this camera that will also do video, and so we filmed her music video on an actual camera for the first time. So we've got camera gear and everything. It was so much stuff. And we set that up, and the day before, as I'm getting all this stuff ready and I'm bringing it all downstairs, I ate one meal. I did OMAD that day. Really not even intentionally at first, but it was just so much easier for our schedule for me to just eat OMAD, and I wasn't really that hungry in the morning anyway. So I kind of fasted the first part of the day, which had continued the fasting from the previous day, because I'm doing a carnivore shred plan, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm doing a carnivore shred plan because I'm going to go ahead and do everything now it takes. I'm going to get down to my ideal body weight, and I'm just going to do what I got to do, and we'll be talking more about that. I'll be sharing more info in the future. But I already was fasting since 5 p.m. the first day, because I only eat between 12 and 5, and no food outside of that. So from 5 p.m. the previous day up until I think it was about 4:30 or 5 that day that I had one meal. And I did a feasting sort of a thing, right? Even though I'm shredding, it's like a feast when you eat all of your daily food intake in one meal like that. So I fasted and then I feasted. That's the day I'm setting up all of the stuff. The next day when we film, so we're getting stuff all set up in the morning and we're getting ready. The hair and makeup lady comes over and does Ash's hair and her makeup and all that kind of stuff. You can see some behind the scenes by following ashtaylor.com, and she'll be sharing stuff on all her social medias, which you can find all the links on her website. So ashtaylor.com if you want to see all that. But hair and makeup is here, gets Ash all set up, everything's good. I'm fasting, I'm just doing my thing. So I realize we're going to be filming starting at 4 o'clock. So 4 to 7 is when we had the venue where we were filming. That's when we had that venue. So we're going to be there from 4 to 7. So if I'm only eating between 12 and 5, and it's about an hour drive to where we're filming, I have limited options on what I'm going to be able to do as far as eating. So I decided, well, I'm going to do another OMAD day. So I fasted from about 5 o'clock the day before, when it was the setup day. So I'd done one meal that day, had been fasting, did a feast meal. Then I fast all the way through until about between 2 and 2:30 is when I ate. And I ate one meal that day. And it was actually a leaner meal because part of my carnivore shred thing is some days I actually do less food so that I really get into the shred range. And then the next day I go back to having more again so that I'm not pushing starvation. I'm not, like cutting down my food intake so much that my body goes, what are you doing? But I'm having leaner days. So it was a leaner day. So it wasn't even as big of like a feasting meal, but I did one meal that day because then we're going to go film. And by the time we get back that night, it's going to be late. I'm not going to eat that late. So I did a second day OMAD, and it was again, fast, feast, and then the rest of that day was a fast into my next day. So the day before, I did a fast and a feast, and I did salt water and coffee in the morning. And then I did one big carnivore feast, and it was chicken and this beef patty that has livers in it. Now, I'm going to be sharing more about all of this when I talk about the carnivore shred plan, which I'm going to be talking about on the channel. That was not just dinner that day. It was like rocket fuel for the following day, and that was really intentional. So then on filming day, I wake up, I'm light, I'm focused, there's no fog because I only had one meal the first day, and I had then gone all the way through the rest of the day, through the night, into the morning, no food, so I'm fasted again. And I did OMAD again. No snacks, no crashes, none of the stuff that comes from any of that. And then I did a full day of heavy work, carrying gear, setting up in multiple locations at this venue. All of this, like I was outside, I was sweating, I was hoofing it up and down these hills, like all this kind of stuff. That was a full day of heavy work, but it was my creativity that was being powered by fat stores and by ketones, because I'm in ketosis doing this, okay? I thrived on that. I did not drag, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of why. Now, I don't give medical advice. I am not a nutritionist, and I am not telling you to do what I'm doing. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what science says. You can make your own decision. You need to do your own research. You need to talk to your own doctor and figure out if you want to do something like this. So, no medical advice, but this is just telling you what I'm doing and why. So let's talk about the science of why this is so good. So ketones are brain rocket fuel. And we talked about this in, I believe it was last week's Monday Motivation. We were talking about why fueling your body with ketones is like using a power plant instead of a backup generator, which is what the standard American diet does. We're not using backup generator, we're using a full-on power plant. Another way of thinking of it is ketones are rocket fuel for your brain. And the reason for that is you get more ATP, remember that's energy, ATP, more energy, ATP, per oxygen molecule than if you run on glucose, okay? This crosses the blood-brain barrier very easily, and that's what we need it to be able to do. So we're getting more energy into our brain and our muscles and all these other places as well because we're running on ketones. So that makes you run much cleaner and much more powerfully, like rocket fuel, or like that power plant analogy we talked about in the last Monday morning motivation. The next thing is we get a norepinephrine surge, and this means focus and energy are increased. So this is a 2 to 3 times increase during fasting, and it keeps you sharp and it mobilizes the fat in your body. And this is really important for me, not only to lose weight, but also to feel clear and keep my brain working. That norepinephrine surge gives me that clarity. And during the fasting portion of this whole thing, it's really impacting me 2 to 3 times, okay? The next thing, growth hormone spikes. So growth hormone spiking actually equals muscle protection. So in a 24-hour fast, you get up to 1,500% growth hormone rise. Now that's protecting your muscles and, of course, all of the important things in your body, right? This is why fasting eats away at the fat, not your organs and your muscles and all this other stuff, provided that you're not starving yourself. Fasting and starving are 2 different things. So this protects your muscle and it enhances recovery. It's like when we get into autophagy and we get the, Dr. Berry talks about how if you're not feeling good and you're not hungry, fast, because it actually helps your body heal. This is why you get into this recovery sense state of fasting with this growth hormone spike. So that's really, really good. Also, your insulin goes down because you're not eating anything. So, of course, your insulin starts going down. This gives you access to energy and lower inflammation. It taps into your fat reserves. That's why we lose the fat on our bodies. And you get less inflammation, which equals better performance, both physically and mentally. Less inflammation in your brain, you think clearer, you get focused, you get sharp. Less inflammation in your joints and your muscles and everywhere else in your body, you move better and you feel better. That's why you feel this energy from being fasted. Then, and this is where it all comes together for me and why I wanted to share this, the feast complements the fast. The OMAD, the 1 meal a day, replenishes the nutrients and the amino acids. And the protein that you eat activates mTOR for repair and rebuild. So essentially you're fasting. You're getting this energy in your brain, energy in your muscles, you're tapping into fat reserves, you're running on ketones, you're clear, you're sharp, you're focused, you're energized, ATP is doing its thing, you've got all the energy you need. And you fast, and everything is repairing, and everything is protected. And then you have that one meal, that feast, and the OMAD, the one meal, replenishes the nutrients you need, and it gives you a flood of amino acids. This protein activates mTOR, we'll talk about more of that in a minute, and it repairs and it rebuilds, and it makes you feel fantastic. So this whole process is a really intentional thing. And I did it 2 days in a row because I had 2 really busy days. And at first it was kind of just, well, it's easiest for the schedule and accidental. And then as I thought about that, I was like, actually, that's a really smart idea. And it fits in with the Carnivore Shred plan, which we're going to talk about. So I was doing the research and I'm like, okay, so I feel so great fasted. And then I have this big meal and I actually get an energy boost from that meal. And I was trying to figure out if I feel so great fasted and then I eat and I don't get sluggish, what's actually going on? So when I'm fasted, I'm getting ketone production. My body is running on ketones. They're cleaner. They're more stable fuel for the brain than the glucose, more ATP. We've talked about all that, right? We also get a catecholamine surge, which the fasting increases the norepinephrine, okay, 2 to 3 times. That sharpens focus, it boosts alertness, and it mobilizes fat for energy. And we get the growth hormone. The high growth hormone during the fasting preserves the muscle, gives you a primed feeling, right? The energy, you're ready to perform. All of that together creates that fasted clarity. And I can tell you when I fast, I feel this every time. And it gives you a physical lightness because you're not dealing with digestion and heaviness and all of these things. You're feeling really good. You're feeling light and clear. And I actually have some references for this stuff. So you guys want those references, you let me know. But here's the thing. Why does the big meal, when I'm fasted, give me this secondary boost, which got me through all of that work? Because I ate between 2 and 2:30, and then we left at about 2:30, 2:45 to drive where we were going, get there about 3:45, and then we start getting the car unloaded, and from 4 to 7, it was just 3 hours of solid work, no break, because we had to get all of it done in 3 hours because we're paying for this venue. We need to get all of the stuff filmed in 3 hours. And it takes a lot of work to set up lights, film shots, I mean, multiple things. You guys have no idea how much work goes into filming and then editing and everything in music video. It's really intense. And we don't have teams of people doing it. It's me and Ash, and she's the star, so moving things and all that, she can't be sweating and messing up the makeup and the hair we paid for. I'm the one moving stuff. So I was running on that one meal. So after fasting, protein and fat refeeds and it floods your system with amino acids. This activates mTOR, which is a muscle protein synthesis, and it shifts you from repair maintenance into a build and go mode. Okay, so this is a hormetic reset. Breaking a fast acts like flipping a switch, and your body interprets it as abundance. Hormones like insulin rise briefly to store nutrients, and the thyroid and leptin signals kick in, telling your body, we've got plenty of fuel, go for it, go hard at this. Okay? You also get a glycogen refill, and even on keto and carnivore, you get a gluconeogenesis reaction, right? Which refills just enough glycogen in the muscle and the liver to give you extra performance bumps. So it does that to your performance a little. It is not a carb crash, because you're not spiking your insulin and then crashing. It's just topping off the tank with that little bit of extra energy by putting that little bit of glycogen back in the muscles because of the gluconeogenesis, where your liver takes protein and transforms it into the little bit of glucose you need. The gut-brain axis is also involved. A good-sized meal can trigger dopamine and serotonin release. It's the satisfaction you get when you eat and you're like, oh, that tastes great. This is a reward for your brain, plus you get calm focus, which often feels like a second wind before tackling a hard task. So basically, when I was fasted, my body flipped on what's like the hunter mode, right? Because I'm out searching for food. That's what my body is doing. And then the norepinephrine goes up, the ketones are fueling my brain, the growth hormone is keeping me strong. Then I ate a big OMAD feast. So fasting and then feasting. And boom, I get mTOR and the amino acids that switch me into a repair and go mode, which is that boost, because now there's abundance. And that meal becomes not just food, but actually a second stage of the rocket fuel that's a booster right before the hardest part of the day. So I used fasting to make myself clear and light. Used one intentional feast meal at a certain time. That's why I chose to eat at like 2:30 instead of earlier, because I wanted to be really well fed right before I go and then have to start working. So I'm coming from that fasted state. I have the meal, I get the extra boost, and I power through the drive and then 3 hours of hard work and then a drive back. And by the time we cleaned everything up, I mean, that was, let's see, that would have been about a 6, almost 7 hour marathon of load up the car, drive, unload the car, set up and film, sweat all the way through, move gear, finish everything up, repack and load the car, drive back, unload the car back into the house, and you're finally done for the day. And that was all powered by a single OMAD. Just carnivore feast. And I did not need snacks. I did not need anything. The only thing I had was water, and I pumped myself full of some salty electrolytes because I really needed some electrolytes. So, by the way, if you guys need some electrolytes for something just like this, because they really do help, you can go to the description box. I have a link. You can get 10% off salty. That's my favorite electrolytes. Whatever you choose to do, get yourself some electrolytes for these things, because if you're fasting, the electrolytes are the only thing that you really, really need to make sure you're not becoming depleted in. So I'm curious, for you guys, when do you feel sharper? Fasted in the morning or after you eat a meal? I'm just curious. And I know for me, when I'm fasted, that's when I'm sharpest. But if I'm fasting and I do an OMAD meal, I get a boost. I think my sharpness stays pretty close to the same. Maybe it's not quite there totally because my body is dealing with some digestion, but it's pretty close. But I definitely feel the sharpest when I'm fasted. But by eating, then it put me into that, okay, energy boost mode, which is why I did that. So I'm curious for you guys, do you feel better when you're fasted, like in the morning, or maybe if you do longer fasts? Or do you feel sharper after you've eaten? I'm just curious what you think. So, also, if you are ready to ride this one meal a day train, tell me that. Put OMAD, OMAD, in the chat. Let me know if you are ready to ride the OMAD train and give it a shot, or if maybe you already do, whatever. Tell me you're doing OMAD or you're willing to try. And I have a challenge for you guys. I'm just curious if any of you is willing to do this. And again, no medical advice and no nutritional advice, and not telling you what to do. Just curious if you're interested in trying a challenge. Are you willing to try OMAD, one meal a day, the day before another big project you have, be it a physical outside thing or a hard thing that, mentally is taxing or whatever? Are you willing to do OMAD the day before, fast throughout the next day, and then have another OMAD, like carnivore or meat heavy keto, whatever you do, meal, say maybe an hour or two before you're then supposed to work on that big project? Are you interested in trying that? Would you take that challenge and do that with me? And for those of you that are band members, I would love if you do this, for you to post your results in the band and tell us what you think, and then maybe we can talk about this again in a future video. So now, I am doing a carnivore shred, which is how I'm kind of doing all of this. I am going to very soon, maybe this week, maybe next week. I got to look at the schedule because this week is really busy getting ready for low carb for better health. So probably next week. I'm going to start doing a once a week shred update, live stream or video. I'm not sure. Would you guys like a live stream? Would you like videos, like edited videos? What would you prefer? How would you like for me to update you weekly on this whole carnivore shred? We're going to talk all of the details of my shred, the macros that I'm tracking, which I'm not really a macro tracker usually, but for this I'm being really intentional because I'm doing this thing and I'm going to get down to my ideal body weight, and I got to have data so that I know how to adjust as I go. So I'm tracking. How would you guys like me to kind of update you on this? A live stream where we can interact, an edited video, like what would you like to see? But probably starting next week, I'm going to do a carnivore shred weekly update. I'm going to talk all about the macros I'm using, what foods I'm eating, pictures of my meals. The band has actually seen some of this already. They've seen what I'm talking about, and I've given them some details on this, but I'm going to go deeper, and I'm going to tell you guys more about what I'm really doing and what's happening to my body and what this feels like, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep you guys right there along with me on the ride. So if you want to see that happen, and if you want to maybe pick up some tips that might help you shred, keto, carnivore, whatever, I'm glad to share this with you, and maybe you can pick up some tips for you to lose some weight as well, because everything I'm doing is backed by scientific research of why I'm doing it. Doesn't mean I'm telling you you should, just telling you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what science says about it. You can decide for yourself, talk to a doctor, talk to a nutritionist, whoever it is you would trust, whoever you have that relationship with, that medical advice kind of relationship, you can go talk to them. But I am happy to just give you guys the info on what I'm doing, and then you can kind of decide for yourself if that's worth it or something you're interested in. But I'm going to be doing a weekly update on that, and either a live stream or a video, depending on what you guys think would be the most helpful. So let's see. Let's go back to the chat over here, and let's see what we got going on. Dennis says, yes, I had a great time with Chris and Ash yesterday. Dennis, we love you, brother, and we had such a great time with you, having some lunch and hanging out. We had some amazing barbecue. Dennis had some incredible looking brisket, and Ash had brisket. I had chicken, because that's part of my carnivore shred thing that I'm doing, being really intentional, and it was great. So Auntie says, Dennis, aren't they the best? Auntie, you are so sweet. You are the best. Brian says, I could not tolerate whey protein. Do not have a problem with beef isolate protein. Yeah, so beef isolate does not have the same casein proteins as dairy, like whey would. Some people are very sensitive to it. Some people have no issues with it at all. It's kind of that N=1 experiment, but it makes total sense, Brian, that you might just be one of those people that's super sensitive to it. So beef isolate works in some things that whey protein does, in some things not again as well. So again, they're all different proteins, and every protein kind of reacts differently. But beef isolate is a little closer to whey protein. So if you do beef isolate, it's more likely that a recipe can be made with beef instead of the whey. It is much, not all the time, but sometimes, but it is much less likely that you can swap in the egg white powder for the whey. Let's see. Oh, Maritza, I'm so sorry. She says, I fell and think I broke my tailbone. Have to get a CT scan. Maritza, I'm so sorry. We're praying about that for you. Let's see. Sherry says, Chris is the ultimate roadie. Well, I'm something. Oh, goodness. Lynn Reed is here. Happy Monday from North Texas. Hello, Lynn. So glad you're here. And Sherry says, someday you will have a crew. I look forward to those days. Not so much because I mind doing the work, but it's a lot to try to keep up with in a short amount of time some days. But that's all right. It takes my brain in 100 different directions on those days, but it's good. It's good. I would just love to have somebody help me carry all the gear so I can just focus on the filming. I like the filming, but having to come out of filming director mode and carry a bunch of gear and then go back into filming director mode when I'm set up again, it can be a lot without any help. So it's all good. Crow says, I'm late but awake. Hello, Crow. Good to see you here. Maritza says, please everyone like, share, and subscribe. Yes, please. Shay Knights is here. Hello, Shay. And there's Risa's Cluttered Kitchen. Hi, Risa. So glad you're here. Janelle says, I find I fast more when I travel just because I won't eat things I want to avoid, and choices are limited. Yeah, and that's a great tool to have when you are traveling, to be able to fast. It is a great superpower that you gain when you start doing a proper human diet where you're just not hungry all the time. It's awesome. Hello, always be kind. Good to see you here. And there's Debbie, Purple Love, and Nana joining late because of Too Crazy Keto, so watching now. Then we'll go back and see what I missed. Well, that's great, Debbie. I'm so glad you're here. And John Wise is here. Good morning. Just got here from Too Crazy Ketos. Catching up at 1.5 times. Awesome. Brian says, I get a 24-hour fast weekly, then get a 36-hour and 72-hour fast several times a month. I also do intermittent fasting, 6/18 daily. Life is great, and I gift 100. Yes, absolutely, Brian. And that's fantastic that you have all of those different fasts going on and what you're doing. That's very, very good for your brain and your body. I'm sure you're enjoying that. That's awesome. He also says the absolute best day of the fastest day to the ketones are in your brain. Outstanding. Yes. Yes, the best thing in the world is getting a flood of ketones in your brain. It feels amazing. Sven is here. Greetings. Just joining, watching it 2 times. Hello, Sven. So glad you are here, my friend. Thank you for watching. Brian says, carnivore fasting, MCT, and creatine are healing my brain and my body. That's fantastic, Brian. Good for you. Being really intentional about that. It's awesome. Janelle loves it when I talk sciencey stuff. Well, thank you, Janelle. Let's see. There's Steven Stone. What's up, my brother? Good morning from Corpus Christi. Shout out to the band. Yes, Steven is another band member. So, guys, if you're not over there in the band, you're missing out. So many great band members over there. Janelle says, when I'm fasting, I get an energy buzz that sometimes makes it difficult to sleep. Yeah, I totally understand. So, for me, I can get a bit of an energy buzz too, so that's why I actually moved my eating window. Instead of doing like in the morning and then eating like a late lunch or something, that's why I'm doing 12 all the way up to 5, because 5 at the end of my eating window means I'm starting to get a little fasted by the time I would be going to bed, but not really. Like, my body has really processed most of what I've eaten, but I still don't feel like I'm in a really super fasted state. That kind of happens somewhere in the middle of the night after I'm already asleep, and by the time I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go because I'm really hitting that fast. So that's just what I do. That's just what works for me, but I definitely get that energy buzz too. So maybe figuring out when your eating window could be adjusted to, Janelle. Maybe that would help. I don't know. Just an idea. A Crow says, after a 36-hour fast, my brain literally wakes up. Yeah, and I think a lot of people experience that too. I am not even going to try to pronounce your name, if Ifiok. I just said I wasn't going to try, and then I tried. I'm just going to call you Iffy. Hello, Iffy. I hope that's all right, because I am a redneck from southeast Indiana in the cornfields, and I have no idea how your name is pronounced. But I am very glad you are here, and I love that you are putting OMAD, that you are on the OMAD train or willing to give it a shot. I think that's amazing. Thank you for watching. Jesus and Carnivore is here. Good morning. I do OMAD 2 years now, but I mix things up on weekends. I think that's great. I think being too routine, your body can get in such a habit that it just kind of hangs on to everything. And I think shaking it up a little bit from time to time is great. So Maritza says edited videos. There's a vote for that. Cool. Let's see. Auntie says I can't always eat enough for what I need for OMAD. I usually try to stop eating by 6 p.m. to fast through the night till morning. Auntie, I think that's great. I don't think everyone has to do OMAD. I think it's really, really cool to just kind of, figure out how it works for you. But that's great, though, that you're intentionally kind of fasting overnight. I think while you're sleeping is one of the easiest times to fast because you're not awake for it anyway. So Brian says a live stream would be great. Awesome. Janelle says, I'll take updates any way you give them. I just can't do live streams on weekends very well. No worries. And here's the deal, guys. If it's a live stream, you can always go watch the replay afterwards. So Dennis says either method for him. Very cool. Janelle says, LOL, actually, which is easiest for you and takes less time? Live stream versus taped and edited. We want you working on that cookbook. Well, I appreciate that, Janelle. The truth is a live stream takes a lot less time for me. My recipe videos that you guys watch that come out every Saturday, one of those to edit it, if I include the time it takes to film that, the time it takes to edit, the time it takes to upload, do the descriptions, do all the social media stuff, everything that I do for those, one of those videos takes probably about 20 hours of work. Just that one video. That's not including recipe creation. That's not including any of the promotion after the fact. That's not including any of the other things I do for Chris Cooking Nashville. Just that one video takes me about 20 hours. It takes me 2, sometimes 3 days to get of working a certain amount of time each day to get that video edited and uploaded. It is very, very time consuming to do this. I love doing it, but yeah, I'm happy to do either one if if it's going to be what everyone is looking for, it just helps it spread further. And the more people that see it, the more people I help. So if it takes more work, I'm willing to do that. If I do edited videos, they will probably not be the intense editing that I do on the Saturday recipes. It would probably be a lot less editing because I just don't have, I don't have 40 hours in my week to give to just 2 videos without then being able to do all the other stuff I have to do. So I can't do an edited video to that level. But I could do a simple edited video without it taking me too awful much extra time, I think. So the easiest thing would be the live stream. But if that's just like way outvoted or something, I can totally do it the other way as well. If I was to do a live stream, when would you guys like me to do it? Like what day, what time? I can't necessarily guarantee that I'll pick your time, but if there's a particular day or time or something like that that works really well for a lot of people, I may lean in that direction. If I was to do an edited video, what day should I release it? Let me know. What do you guys think? Patricia says, loved how not to cook a steak. Next up, how not to cook chicken. It's actually a really good idea, Grandma Patricia, and I'm really glad you're here. Yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. You never know. If you guys haven't seen that video, I did this video with Dr. Barry, and it was super, super cool. I was just so, I was so blessed to get to do this video with Dr. Barry. You know, it's hard to describe the full circle moment that was for me. If you have not seen the video, you have got to go watch it ASAP. It was so fun, and it's actually doing really well. But I've got a couple of clips actually here. Let me play just a couple of clips for you guys because I think you might enjoy this. So there's just a little quick intro and then a little chunk from the end of the video here for you. So. So there is that one, a little intro from the video, and then let me grab one more here for you. Here we go.
Thin little truck stop steak.
Absolutely.
You can read the newspaper through. Is there any hope for doing that?
There is.
Properly?
There is. So what you would do is you would put that in a freezer, and you would have that partial. Now, does that not look better, guys? Look at that. And look how tender it is. Like it's falling apart because of the sodium that's in it, right? So I think you can tell which one is which.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so you can take the really cheap steaks and you can freeze them 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So you dry brine it first. That's gonna help a lot. Then freeze for 30 to 45 minutes. Get that pan nice and hot. And instead of letting it sit on the counter for an hour like I did to come to room temperature, you take it straight out of the freezer and you put it in that skillet, and it keeps that center from overcooking so much. Now you're not gonna get as good of a crust, but you will get a whole lot better than this, which is what those usually look like. And you can also use this technique on burger patties. So if you're on a burger budget, there you go.
We ready? Because I'm ready.
Go for it, my friend.
I'll tell you guys, I've been all over the world and eaten steak in many different countries. I have had many a steak at a 4- and 5-star restaurant. Not as good as that. Many steaks. In restaurants with steak in the name, which you would think, you know, they would do a good job. No, this is the way. This is how it's done. You guys need to try this.
So there we go. What a humbling experience to get to cook for the man who has taught me all of this info about Keto Carnivore, quite literally saved my life with the info he puts out, and to get to make a steak for him and then to have such complimentary things said about that. So if you guys have not seen that video, you gotta go watch that video because it just takes the simplest thing of making a steak and just helps you make it a lot better. Really, really cool. So yes, that is the not how not to cook a steak video, because I show you the wrong way and then the right way. And we did it for a live studio audience in support of the American Diabetes Society. There's more info about that in that video. So it's the latest video on my channel. You can go to my channel and you'll find it right there in my video list. It's the last one I've uploaded. So Kel is here. Hi from Louisiana. Love your shirt. Hubby has one just like it. Well, thanks, Kel. I really love these shirts. I love Hawaiian shirts. I was wearing Hawaiian shirts starting when I was about 14 years old, and I wore them all through high school all the time, and then I just kind of quit for a long time. And I realized they make me happy, so I'm just going to keep wearing Hawaiian shirts. I've always loved them, still do. Just going to keep wearing them. So, Jeffy's mom is here. Hello. So sorry I just tuned in. What egg white powder brand do you recommend? You know, so I used to use Now egg white powder, and the only reason that I recommended it was because it was clean and it was also one of the cheapest. They used to sell their egg white powder at a discount. They put like deals on Amazon and do discounts and all this kind of stuff, and it was great. And then, like so many companies do, they changed their formula without telling anybody, and they started adding sunflower lecithin. And here's the deal: I don't actually think sunflower lecithin is really that bad for you, not in the trace amounts they're using especially. The problem was not so much the health issue for me. And some people don't like it, and that's fine. But for me, it wasn't even that. For me, the problem was they started adding it, and guess what? It won't whip the same way as it would without the sunflower lecithin. So, Jeffy's mom, the only thing that I can really suggest is that you go find one that has egg whites as the only ingredient and nothing else. If it has sunflower lecithin, if it has any other additional ingredients, you just don't know if it's going to whip properly or not. The best thing you can do is read the ingredient list and make sure the only thing on there is egg whites. It should just be spray dried or freeze dried or however they're making that. Egg whites. Nothing else, just egg whites. Not whole eggs, egg whites. If it has whole eggs, that means it's got the yolk in there. It's not going to whip. It's not going to act the same because you have fat and everything changes. So if you're trying to use specifically egg white powder, the only ingredient in it should be egg whites, and just find the best deal you can. Judy's egg white powder is one that I've done that works really, really well. That the last time I checked had nothing in it, and I didn't have to worry about it having any kind of additive or anything. At least according to the package, there was no additive, and it worked really well for me. So it's annoying though. You gotta read those labels. So always check the ingredients list. But I just get it off of Amazon, and I find whatever the best price per weight is that I can find that also does not have anything added to it. Just purely egg whites. Let's see. D'Amazing Mama is here. Hello, all from West Palm Beach. Hello to you. Holly Springer is here. Morning, friends. I'm running errands, so I'll be listening but not chatting. Hope everyone has a great week. Well, Holly, thank you for tuning in. Good luck with your errands. And my mom says, you used to have a crew, Dad and me. Yes, my parents used to schlep gear with me everywhere we would go. So they don't do that anymore. Bummer. I lost my free roadies. Let's see. Janelle says, I need the chicken video too. I dried one out and turned it into chicken salad. Yeah, chicken is a little bit temperamental if you're not careful. So maybe I could do a how not to cook chicken video. It's interesting. I've done some chicken videos, and when I do, they never perform well. A lot of people don't seem to be interested in chicken. Probably because they don't cook it right, because it can be really, really good if you cook it right, but convincing people that it's worth watching, that's the hard part. So we'll see what we can do. Let's see. And Patricia says, mine are more like rubber. Yeah, I've had a few of those. Sherry says, I never realized until I started hanging out with all of you that I fast every day and have for many years. I'm just not a morning eater or a late night one either. Sherry, that's amazing, and it's probably one of the reasons that you see some of the health benefits you do, even when you didn't know it's what you were doing. It's awesome. Let's see. Jesus and Carnivore says, looking forward to seeing you and Ash on Friday. So excited to squeeze you two. Well, we're so excited to see you two. And please come up to us and just throw your arms around us and give us a hug. I gotta tell you guys, if you ever see me anywhere, okay, I don't generally initiate hugs because I'm a big guy. I've got a beard. I'm kind of, I've always been intimidating, is what I've been told to people that don't know me. So I don't initiate hugs because that can be misconstrued by people. But I love hugs. You are always welcome to initiate them with me. If you want a hug, all you got to do is just walk up to me and hug me. I don't care. Now, I also would say that if you see me out somewhere and you've never met me before to where I wouldn't recognize you, you're welcome to give me a hug. Just tell me, oh my gosh, you're Chris Cooking Nashville. I'm so and so on YouTube. And then give me a hug so that I don't think I'm like walking around and some random human being is like wrapping their arms around me to like try to pin me to the ground or something. Just tell me you're from YouTube so that I know. And then you can feel free to give me a hug anytime. So let's see. Maritza says, live stream then. Amazing Mama says 20 hours versus a live stream at less than 1 hour. Live stream it is. Yeah, I don't think, and if you don't edit videos, you would never have any idea how long it takes. Even back when I was doing simple editing, way less than what I'm capable of doing now, because I've learned to do all of this. I edit all my own videos. Most YouTubers don't edit their own videos. I don't know if you guys know that. Most YouTubers pay somebody else to do that. I don't. I do all of my own stuff. So I film it all. I create the recipes. I edit. I do the color grade. I do a color correction. I upload it. I do my social media promote. I do it all. I do all of it. So it takes a lot of work. And it's something I enjoy, but it does take a lot of time and effort. Peggy says, knowing all the work for record, or for record, I vote live. Yes. Maritza says time that is best for you. I appreciate that. Auntie says daytime, LOL. For me, it's all a crapshoot on workers' comp now. I'll try and tune in whenever you can do it. Well, I appreciate that, Auntie. And hey, you can always watch the replay, so we'll see what we can do. And there's Janelle dropping the how not to cook a steak video. I appreciate that, Janelle. So if you guys haven't seen that, after this, go check that out. Brian says, great video, lots of knowledge shared. I didn't realize how tall he is. Yeah, Dr. Barry is like 6'2", 6'3", something like that. I mean, I'm 6 feet. So, the fact that he is, a couple inches taller than I am goes to show you he's a pretty tall dude. So, Sherry wants the chicken one too. Absolutely. Auntie says, heading to that link ASAP. Awesome, Auntie. I hope you enjoy it. Arisa says, I haven't watched the Dr. Barry and steak video yet. Added to my watch later list. Didn't have time at the time. All good. Rick says, celebrity guest will increase subscribers. Good morning, Rick. I think it probably will. I don't really care so much about the subscribers. I think the more important thing is having Dr. Barry in there. Excuse me. His name carries weight and legitimacy. And when he says something is good, people listen just because it's his name. So helping people is hard if they don't believe you. No matter how good what you're saying is, if someone doesn't have a reason to believe you, nothing happens. So having Dr. Barry work with me, it was an honor to get to do that. And I don't really care about celebrity or not. I don't really think YouTubers are celebrities. Dr. Barry is well known. I wouldn't even call him a celebrity, but regardless, subscribers and all that stuff are kind of irrelevant. The number of people you can help, because people say, oh, well, if Dr. Barry says it's really good, this must be really good. That kind of just legitimacy to what you're saying gets more people to listen. You reach more people, and then when you reach more people, YouTube honors that by showing the video to more people. And so I don't care about, the fame and the fortune and all the things that people assume comes with a YouTube channel, which, believe me, it's not the way that people think it is. But even if it was, that's not the point. The point is when you get more and more people to watch it and know who you are, they trust you more, or they trust Dr. Barry's name on it or whatever, they watch it, they believe it, they react positively, and then because of the way they interact with the video, YouTube spreads it farther. And if you want to get the message to more people, you have to play the game to get the message to spread out. And it's a whole undertone of how YouTube works. I've studied that on top of everything else I'm doing. I'm studying that, and I'm working very intentionally with all that too. So, yeah, I mean, you're probably going to get some subscribers, but that happens anytime that you put out a video that spreads really far. So, Dr. Barry just backing up what I'm doing and saying it's better than the 4 and 5 star steak restaurants he's been to. It just tells people this is the way to do it, and it helps people start to cook better steaks, and it makes them happier on a carnivore diet. So I think it's really cool, and it was a huge honor for him to say that he would do that and be in the kitchen with me. I've never seen Dr. Barry cook with anybody except Nisha. So I took it as an amazing compliment. I have so much respect for him and the work that he does, and it was such an honor and such a privilege and such a humbling experience for him to be willing to share a camera space with me. I love that man. He is amazing, and he does a lot of amazing work. And when you actually get to know him in person, I think it's way different than what a lot of people assume that it is when they see him online. So he's the same person, but when you're sitting behind the camera on YouTube, you can very easily get people that think you're a certain way, or they think they know everything about you, or they make assumptions about, how much money you must make, or, what it's like to be a celebrity, or, any of these kinds of things. Like, I've had so many people that are, they look at me and they're like, you've got over 100,000 subscribers. I know how much money you make. And I'm like, no, I really don't think you do, because I am not wealthy doing this. And that's why, support makes such a huge difference. But, when you're someone like Dr. Barry, people just make really big assumptions about things. And when you actually get to know him in person and you realize what he's doing and why he's working so hard to help people, it's a really cool thing. And it's really great to just have that friendship and have that camaraderie and get to work together with him. And that was a real honor, and it was a real joy. So we very much enjoyed getting to do that with him. Risa's got to go. Have a good day, Risa. Watch the replay later. Awesome. Auntie says, wow, high steak praise from Dr. Barry. Yes, I totally agree. That was really, really cool. Let's see. Chris Bear is here, says, I think your live is using the wrong microphone. Sounds like camera mic instead of lav mic. Let me see. Maybe it kicked me off. It's been doing this weird thing audio-wise. No, it says that it's using the right microphone, but I don't know. It was being really weird with the microphone today, so let me see if I can switch it off and back on and see if maybe that'll help. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, so there's the laptop microphone, and there should be the right microphone. So let's see if that fixed it. Let me know. Uh-oh, Sherry says, I think my coffee pot just took a dump. Made my coffee this morning, but I always add 5 ounces more when I drink it all to mix with my turmeric paste. Is just sitting there and not brewing. That's a bummer. Sorry to hear that. Let's see. Sherry says, I want to make Cindy's new bread, but I only have the now with the sunflower. Interesting. Yeah, I saw that Cindy has new bread. I have not watched the video yet, but I need to go double check it out. Sherry says, genius, can I use actual egg whites, and how much to replace the egg white powder? Sherry, no, I don't think you probably can. Now, I haven't watched her recipe, so I can't tell you for sure that you can't, but this is a question I get regularly. Why would you use egg white powder and not just egg whites? Well, egg white powder is highly concentrated protein without any water. And if you try to add egg whites in there, you're getting way less protein for the volume, and you're getting a bunch of water that you have to figure out how to deal with. When that water all steams out, it creates big air pockets, and a lot of it still sticks around, which is why you get squishy eggs. So if you try to use egg whites instead of egg white powder in a recipe like that, usually what you end up creating is some weird, nasty scrambled egg thing. It just does not work the same, unfortunately. So, let's see. Peggy says, sounds like a good idea. How not to cook chicken? Yeah, I think that might be cool. Chris, if you ever see me anywhere, run. Hello, sir. I am from YouTube. Rick says, if Chris saw me, he would know who I am. Yes, Rick, if I saw you, I would know who you are. We know each other quite well from YouTube. Chris says, best part of a live stream, you only need one take. Zero editing. Worst part of a live stream, you only get one take. Absolutely, it's a trade-off. Peggy says, our noon siren just went off and a train through town repeatedly blowing its horn. Wow. Chris says, to be clear, CCN means he doesn't care about increasing the number of subscribers. He cares about subscribers. Yes, Chris, thank you. That is a great way of putting that. That is thank you for taking what I'm saying and translating it into much easier to understand language. Yes, I don't care about increasing the number of subscribers. I care about the people who would subscribe and having them get what they need information-wise. Absolutely. Crow, what spices would you use on chicken? Crow, that is a very simple question that has about 1,000 different layers to the answer. I would use 100 or so different spices, all in different combinations, completely depending on the situation and what I was doing. So, how are you cooking it? Why are you cooking it? What part of the chicken? The whole chicken? What are you using it for after cooking it? Eating it by itself? Eating it with something? With a sauce? Without a sauce? I mean, there's so many different ways of doing that. So, let's see. Lynn says, update us on a live. Your time is valuable, and we can get the same info on a live and chat with you on it at the same time. Yeah, I definitely agree that a live is easier. The thing about lives is they also don't get near as many views as an edited video because YouTube doesn't promote them as well. So it's kind of a trade-off. Like, if you're trying to reach people and help people, it's like, well, it's a lot more time to do this, and it may or may not work. But it also has a potential to do way more than this thing over here because a lot of people don't hang out for live streams, and you actually lose subscribers on live streams randomly. I don't know why. When you put live streams out there, you'll always see your subscribers go down by a few, just randomly. No idea why. It's pretty weird. Charger Mopar Rick, Chris cooks better than any restaurant because he does it in front of you, and a carnivore cooks meat best. Yeah. I do it right in front of you for sure, and I agree the carnivores know how to cook the meat. Well, some of the carnivores. I've seen a few that I question, but that's all right. Brian says, all the flash doesn't matter one bit for me. It's the knowledge shared and how the person treats other people. Brian, I totally agree. Totally agree. Chris says, laptop sounds better, strangely. Janelle says, laptop sounded better. Interesting. Okay, well, I will switch over to the microphone on the laptop. That's very strange. I don't know why. Here we are on the laptop microphone. I don't know why it's doing that. I wonder if there's maybe something wrong with my mic. I'll have to check it out. So, Jolene says, Cindy who? Cindy DeManch. She's in the band, and she is very interactive on a number of channels in the keto and carnivore world. She's an amazing lady. She's just like family to us. We love Cindy and Brian. So Cindy DeManch. If anybody in the chat has any of my moderators, Auntie or Janelle or Maritza, whoever, if you have the link for Cindy's video for that bread, please feel free to drop it in the chat. Or just even her channel because she deserves more subscribers too. So, let's see. Sherry says, I knew you would have the answer. I'll try to find a small bag of the egg white powder that's clean with no additives. Yeah, it's the best thing you can do, Sherry, is honestly go to Amazon and just search egg white powder and just read the ingredients on each of them until you find one that you're okay with the price, the size of the bag, the ingredient list, all of it. It's the easiest way to do it, which it's annoying, but it's the best you can do. Auntie says, I feel like you get a good look at who a person is during a live stream. Yeah, sometimes I think you do. So When I had an opportunity to meet Chris and Ash, it was like seeing old friends. Well, Auntie, you're family. I mean, you're Auntie to us. So it was so awesome to get to spend time with you in person. And that's the thing, guys. We love when we get to meet you guys in person. That's why we're looking forward to Low Carb for Better Health, because I know some of you are going to be there, and we do this because we love people. Um, it's what we do. We love people. So my mom says, if spilling your coffee is the adult version of losing your balloon, does that mean a broken coffee maker is the adult version of a broken balloon? That's a good question. I would argue that yes, that is probably what that is, because I think the emotion is the same. And I know Auntie agrees, because Auntie loves her coffee, and she says yes, it does. And I'm seeing better sound with the laptop. Cool. I'm just gonna have to play around and figure out what's going on with the microphone, I guess. So sorry about that, guys. Technology loves to abandon you. Remember when I said, let me know you can see me and hear me at the beginning of this, and I said I don't trust technology? That's a good example of why. Let's see. My dad says, been listening while making an Italian Calabrian Brezola, getting ready to dry cure. That sounds really good. You're bringing some of that when you guys come through Nashville, right? uh, let's see. Dennis says, I agree. Air Fry and Auntie felt the same way when I met them. Well, Dennis, when we met you, we felt the same way meeting you as we did meeting Auntie in person for the first time. Y'all are some of the sweetest people that I've ever known. I have such an amazing group of people in this community that make me feel like I have a place to belong in the world. You guys really mean that to me. And that's why I created the band, because I want a place for us to be able to do that for other people too. And I just try to share that with as many people as I can. That's why we have that community, because doing this is hard. Doing this alone is so much harder. And when you have a group that makes you feel like you belong, and they support you in your ups and your downs, and they don't judge you for anything, there is really not anything that I can think of better. And I just like being able to share that with as many people as possible, because it's so amazing. So Steven says live stream is the answer. Less effort most frequently. Yeah, if again, it's that whole thing of, can we get it to spread and get more people to tune in? Because I love live streaming, but if you only get a few people that tune in and then it doesn't really get promoted by YouTube, it's hard to use the information to get it out to people. And a lot of the live stream spreading thing really relies on you guys to share it with other people. And I know that you hear this all the time from creators. Please share, please share, please share. And it's annoying. I know, but the thing is, I can't make people come find my live stream because YouTube doesn't promote it the same way. You guys sharing a live stream and encouraging people to come in, that's how live streams grow. And sometimes you get people that find you randomly, but a lot of times it's through word of mouth that live streams spread. Recorded videos, when I post them, you can play with the algorithm, and you can be, here's a cool thumbnail, and here's a title that's curiosity, and here's info in the description box YouTube recognized. Like, you can play that game and get it in front of more people in a very particular way. So it is a game. It is a very challenging game, and you have to play it if you want to be successful on YouTube. There is no other way to do it. It is how it works. And so it's kind of a trade-off. It's like, yeah, it's less work to do the live stream, but it's also less reach unless the people watching are all sharing it constantly on their social medias and helping to grow it. And so it's, how much buy-in do you get from the people who are watching, and how much value do you add? So it's a weird decision to have to make, and that's why I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, what is most valuable to everybody else. So there's Janelle dropping Cindy's bread video. Excellent. Thank you so much. D'Amazing Mama says, Lord knows no one wants crazy, nasty egg thingies. Yes, I agree. It's one of the biggest complaints about those breads and stuff that have eggs in them, is everyone says they taste like eggs and they're nasty. Let's see. Auntie says, I may or may not always have a backup coffee maker. Yes. Yes, absolutely. My dad says, nope, that's fine. Keep it all for yourself. Let's see. Auntie says, now I'm going to cry, thinking of what I was going through last April when I did meet you guys. Having y'all in my corner means so much more support than food. Auntie, I understand, and honestly, we go through these difficult things, and you know, we understand what it's like to have people in your corner, and that's why we try to be in the corner for whoever we can. We really, really do, and it means the world to have you guys in our corner, and we just want to be there in your corner too. Because listen, life is life, and there's difficult things, and as we're all doing this together, it's a lot easier to stick it out when you have people that are there in your corner and help you. So Maritza says she shares on Facebook. Thank you, Maritza. That means the world. D'Amazing Mama, Chris cooks well because he cooks with love. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I really try to. That's why I cook, because I love people, and that's how I say I love you. So I actually talked about that a little bit in that Dr. Berry video. If you haven't seen it at the end, I talked about why I cook. So make sure to watch all the way to the end. Sherry says, I also have a backup coffee maker, Auntie. I'm going camping/glamping, so need to keep it packed. I get it. And Sherry says, Cindy says the bread is not choky or eggy, which is why I want to try it. Yeah, I got to take a look at it, because that's always the thing. When I created my white bread recipe, same thing, trying to make it not choky and not eggy, because if it's either one of those things, my wife will spit it out. So Auntie has a little 5-cup coffee maker, takes with her on small trips. I remember she showed us when we met her, because she won't use the hotel coffee makers, and I don't blame you for that. You are correct for making your own. Tammy is here, another band member, says, hey band, decided to clean out my closet. What a mess. Now if I could just get my husband out of the way. I understand, Tammy. We're really glad you're here. Janelle says, Anita Ketogenic Woman also did a bun recipe with powdered milk. I saw that. So the only thing about her recipe with that powdered milk, which she says in the video, is one of the cons of it is it's pretty high in carb for that kind of thing, because powdered milk comes with a lot of lactose. So it looks like a really good recipe, but you have to be aware that it does have more carbs because of the powdered milk. So you have to kind of balance out how much of that you really want to use. But it did look really good. Brian says, I share you and Ketogenic Woman's channels with everybody I can. Brian, we appreciate that. I can't tell you how much that means. Jolene says, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, please. I've got 17 likes and I've got 63 people watching, so someone's slacking. Love you guys. Hit that like button for me. Hit the thumbs up. That just helps so much. There's Janelle dropping in the Ketogenic Woman's buns. The recipe video, not her actual buns. The recipe video. So if you don't know Anita over at Ketogenic Woman, go give that video a watch. Subscribe while you're there. But that is a really cool recipe. And just remember, account for those carbs if you're going to do that. But it does look like a really cool recipe. Let's see. Janelle says you're going to use Anita's recipe and tweak it with other powders. It's a good idea. Now, the thing is, when you have something like milk powder, because of the fat and carb content that's in that, if you start swapping that out for things like whey protein, beef isolate, egg white powder, any of these other things, remember, the proteins are all different. They're going to absorb moisture at different rates. They're going to come out with a slightly different texture in the end. So if you start swapping powders, it may start throwing that recipe off to where it's dense or dry or choky or whatever. So as you play with it, just be ready to, do a lot of experimentation. I'll put it that way. I go through a significant amount of experimentation. So, but you might come up with something that totally breaks the internet and changes everything. So go for it and have fun. Just be prepared to do some work. So just to tweak it the way that you really like it. Auntie says if you refresh, mine shows 70 likes. Well, that's cool. For whatever reason, I'm only showing like 18 over here, but hey, as long as people are liking and doing their thing, that's awesome. Appreciate you guys so much. Jolene wants to know if I have an air fryer link. I want to get a new air fryer. Do you have a link? Yes. Jolene, I believe you're in the band. Do me a favor and send me a message over there, because I'll send you some links and I'll also send you a little thing describing why I like individual ones so that you can sort of pick based on your budget and what you're trying to do, what would be best for you. So just send me a message in the band and I will absolutely send you some links. My mom says get an AeroPress, makes better coffee and it only breaks down if you do. AeroPress is a great idea. I also have by OXO, I think it is. I got to double check. I have another travel coffee maker that does something similar to an AeroPress. I think it's actually easier than the AeroPress. That's what Ash and I take now. I have an AeroPress too, but that's what we travel with, and it does a really, really good job. But yeah, any of those kinds of no electricity required coffee makers like that, if they're a good one, they're really, really good. I've got a couple of those. If you guys would like to see which of those we use, if you're interested in something like that, shoot me a message or come join the band and shoot me a message over there. And Janelle says, yes, I expect failures. Cool. Long as you're ready for it and you get to go be Chris Cook in Nashville for a day or a week or however long it takes you. And it is fun, but it does come with its challenges. So let us know how it goes, Janelle. I'd love to see what happens for you and if you come up with something amazing. So Jolene says, thank you. You're welcome, Jolene. Anytime. You're a member of the band. You can send me a message with your questions in there anytime. I will prioritize answering questions for you guys in the band because that's one of the things I try to do for members. I cannot keep up. I can't even come close to keeping up with all the questions I get on a daily basis on my channel. But I will prioritize going into the band and answering questions. Now, I also have a Patreon and I also have YouTube memberships that are all technically called the band. Those eventually are going to go away because I can only do limited things on the Patreon group and the YouTube. I do as much as I can there, but I cannot do as much there as I do in the Mighty Networks. So if you want to join the band and be able to message me and get the priority of me answering and like interact with me and Ash and Amanda Decker is in the band helping us out with stuff and like all these different things, right? If you want all of that, the best place to go is join the Mighty Networks group because all of that stuff is in there. And I try to prioritize answering people on the YouTube memberships as well as the Patreon group as well, but it is so limited what I can do in those places. The Mighty Networks group, I can do so much more. So if you want some help with things, you want to be able to message me and get direct answers, just come over to the band. And I try to go in there every single day and catch up. I try to post as regularly as I can. There's a bunch of cool stuff over there. So Colleen is here. Hello, Colleen says, cold press brew coffee is the best. Yeah, I think it's really, really good too. And I really enjoy that traveling. Auntie says, good idea for travel when I need to replace my current backup. Yes, absolutely. And Brian says the best way to learn is failure. Yeah, well, there's a lot of that goes on in the kitchen, I'll tell you that. Sherry says, I want one of those, but can't afford it. Sherry, are you talking about the AeroPress? Because the AeroPresses are very cheap. Like they're like a almost like a plastic tube. There's nothing, like it doesn't plug in or anything. They're pretty inexpensive. I think they're like $30 or something like that. I know the OXO one that I have is like $30. So, are you talking about that, or are you talking about like one of the bigger things that's more expensive? So, my dad says he can't bring the Brazola because it won't be ready, but he'll bring some pancetta. I love it. A likely excuse. Auntie says, since my fall and break, haven't been able to cook much. Last week, I successfully made left-handed scrambled eggs. I can hold the skillet with broken side. Well, that's good, Auntie. I'm glad you're making some scrambled eggs. I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. Sherry says, yes, the AeroPress. Okay. Let's see. How much coffee at once does an AeroPress or the like make? So the AeroPress makes almost like a... the AeroPress makes like a concentrate, almost like a concentrated almost espresso strength that you then add water to. So the AeroPress is meant for making like a large cup of coffee at a time, or like, a couple of espresso shots kind of concentrate at a time, and then you can add hot water to it. So it's kind of however you want to do it. Sherry, you have no idea what 30. Sherry, I'm not trying to assume anything about you, and I'm not trying to insult you. So, I get it. You can't afford $30. That's fine. I was just trying to clarify. Um, okay, well, guys, I think we are caught up on all of the comments. I appreciate you guys being here, and it is 11:30. So. Chris says, feel free to insult me. Chris, you're funny. I love you, brother. You are fantastic. We actually get to see Chris and Miriam. They are flying into Nashville. They're going to be at Low Carb for Better Health, and I'm going to get a chance to cook for Chris and Miriam. So that's going to be really, really good. So let's see. Janelle says AeroPress is $49 on Amazon. Yeah, I know they've gone up in price. So that's why I think the OXO coffee maker is OXO. I think it's OXO. I'll see what I can find about that. But if you guys are looking for a more budget friendly version of making coffee, those are some options. So, and Tammy says, exactly, Chris, Papa Nash is making excuses. When I was in the Academy for Corrections back in 2004, the excuses was a motto. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we are out of time. I'm going to go get to work. I'm actually filming a really interesting video today, and it's going to be coming out Saturday, and I'm not going to tell you any more about that. The band probably knows a lot more about what I'm talking about than anybody else, because I've actually shared a lot of information with them. But this is going to be a really good, really good video coming out on Saturday, and it's a really important video. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully will help a lot of people, and that's all I'm going to say about it. So I appreciate you guys so much. Auntie, do me a favor and just send me a message, and I will send you a link to the OXO coffee maker that I'm talking about, because they actually have a couple of different things I've found, but the one that I use is super convenient, and you can use it cold water, hot water, all kinds of things. So guys, I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you for hanging with me. I'll give you more info about the shred videos, whether I decide to do edited or the live stream version. We'll figure that out. We'll take a look at some stuff, and we'll kind of go from there. And we will try to make this as helpful as we possibly can. In the meantime, come join the band so you can have more access and more fun stuff. Have some amazing things with Amanda Decker over there. Like a lot of really cool stuff going on over there. We would love to have you guys over there, and would really appreciate you guys just joining us, being a part of the community. So we will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching. This is Chris Cook in Nashville. Remember to eat your meat, love your life, and I'll see you here in the studio for more live streams just like this on Monday mornings, and shred updates coming soon, and all kinds of stuff. We'll catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you guys soon.